Hello, Brian. Is this you?
Yeah, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
And I'm joined with my buddy here, Austin.
Hey, Brian. How's it going?
Good, Austin. How about yourself?
Doing great.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you for coming on, taking the time to join us here tonight. And we just wanted to kind of ask you a couple questions as far as how you got your start in pro wrestling, who were some of your inspirations, and so forth. And we'll just fire away with what led you to want to become a professional wrestler. Was there an inspiration that you had growing up? Was there a family member that maybe got you into it, or what would you say?
Actually, my mom, I guess, knows the story a little bit better than me because I was a little too young. But the first time I had seen pro wrestling, I was actually at a small town of Orland, California. She had a friend that was staying at some hotel, and we went over there to visit. And I just happened to, sit on the bed, and on the TV was pro wrestling. I'd never seen it, and they were watching it, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" And just became enthralled with it ever since. And it was probably though about 10 years old. I think I was like 5 then. About 10 years old is when I really decided, like, you know what? Like, this is it. This is what I want to do. I love X-Men and superheroes, and these guys are superheroes to me, and this is amazing. This is what I want to do, and so it really just stuck with me since then. And everyone said, like, oh, you grew out of it. And you still want to be a wrestler in junior high, and they're like, oh, forget about it. And in high school, like, you still want to be a wrestler? Like, that's not going to happen. You should think about something else. And obviously, it just never left me. But and back then, like when I was really young, of course, like Warrior and stuff. But through when about 10 and 11 and whatnot, when I was really wanting to do it, I was really into Michaels and Razor at that time.
Nice. So did you remember watching their ladder match, or did you watch it like years later, or?
Actually, you know what? I didn't see the ladder match from WrestleMania 10 when it happened. I saw it later because I believe I was there was a couple of years we were grounded from watching wrestling.
Was it the Attitude Era? No, I'm kidding.
No. Yeah, it was like I think 93 through 95, pretty much. Like maybe not exactly a 2 year span, but right around there was when we were. One too many roughhousing episodes with my mom or with my two brothers, and my mom finally pulled the plug and was like, you know what, enough is enough. You guys are done. No more wrestling. We're like, what? And then we Mondays just started to become like frozen dinner night. We have pizza pockets or hot pockets or frozen pizzas or whatever, and we'd go in our room and eat them and just kind of start watching wrestling, and we'd always close the door and just kind of do it sneakily for a while until we finally got caught, and then Mom was like, hey, whatever, you guys can watch it again now. So I didn't see the first one when it happened, but I did watch the first one live, but it was via Scramble because I didn't order the pay-per-view, but I watched it, back in the day when you could turn it on 98, 99 and have it where it kind of comes in sometimes, hear the audio. So, yeah, it was good.
The good old days, what can I say? But so, what led to as you became a grown up, of course, and you got into it? Like, how did you go out to one of the schools locally? Did you maybe travel to another city to learn how to wrestle? Did somebody, I don't know, did you get trained by anybody? I guess my question is.
Well, I guess the big story with me, I've told many times, was as I got older, one of my big inspirations was Chris Canyon. That's where the whole get my shit in and Multiple Paragon and all his nicknames come from, because I was always super into him growing up. He always do his cool moves, all his unique stuff. It's just a bunch of things nobody else was ever doing. I was like, wow, this guy's awesome. And
who better than Canyon?
I'd go out and what's that?
I say, who better than Canyon?
Yeah, nobody, of course. And so, like, when I'd go and, wrestle with my brothers or friends, wherever, I always want to, emulate all of his moves. And when he got picked up, like, the whole Alliance angle, and I got to go, it was the first time I'd seen him live, I made sure I made a Who Better Than Canyon sign, and it was during, the milk truck deal. I was, down the 6th row, and we all got sprayed out, and
nice.
During the whole Austin appreciation ceremony, someone do something in the ring, like Canyon, Tommy Dreamer got on the ropes, and I took that as my opportunity. I stood up and waved my Who Better Than the Canyon sign, and he looked right at it, and I knew he saw it, and I was stoked. And as we were leaving, after Rob went off the air, he started pointing, like, in my direction, and I pointed myself as, like, asking me. He pointed at me, and he was like, yeah, and he gave me the big thumbs up, and I freaked out. I was, like, I think 17 at the time. And he came back out and signed my sign and signed the shirt and gave me the Who Better Than Austin shirt, and it was freaking awesome. And I couldn't believe it. I put this whole, like, story on his message board, and the webmaster forwarded it to Canyon, who in return eventually emailed me and told me and was like, oh, you know, keep touch or whatever. And so I blew him up like crazy, of course. You know what I mean? It was probably like a 20-to-1 email ratio, but you know, he knew I wanted to be a wrestler, so I asked him, like, all the advice in the world and what to go, where, you know, everything. But there was a local place not too far from my hometown of Chico, California, that I started training with. And then staying in touch with Kane, I started actually, after I started working at indie scenes a little bit, I did train a little bit with him. But I also started running my own fed called Main Event Wrestling Federation. I actually got to wrestle Canyon twice in my hometown, which was like a dream come true. And then he was influential in getting me over to Deep South, uncontracted, for about 7 or 8 months before they went under, which also led to me getting picked up developmentally.
By WWE? Or did that come down later?
Which part?
Oh, when you got your developmental, was that a couple of years later from that, or was that right after Deep South?
It was... But he went under... May I left. Yeah, you know, I guess it was probably about a year later.
Gotcha.
Because I went home. I moved back to Cali like the summer of '07, and I got the booking like probably around now for like a 3 shots in beginning of June in California, and then mine did those few shots is what led to me getting signed from them. So.
Yeah, in FCW, you were tag team champions with Justin Gabriel. How was that experience?
Man, it was rad. It was a fluke deal. Actually, I was actually really good friends with not a lot of people know him, but Hey Vance, and he was, then we recall, it's like that one episode of SmackDown where somebody kind of like hacks in. There's like this like little dark promo. It was kind of rumored to like be against Undertaker, and then you never saw the guy again. That was Hey Vance, and I was good friends with him. And he was friends with PJ Gabriel from in England and stuff when he was over there training and whatnot. So Justin Gabriel comes over here with, like, you know, knowing nobody, no hookups, no nothing. And like the day he gets here is like the day that Hayde is leaving because he was going to stay with him because Hayde had just got released. So I was like the closest to him. So I was like, oh man, I'll come pick you up. I'll take you down. And so we just hit it off, became pretty good friends, and actually became roommates. And then just one night we got randomly thrown together as a tag team at a house show. I can't remember for what reason. And that superhero gimmick that some people have seen that they wanted me to do there got severely postponed because we tagged and I liked it so well. I liked it so much that we stayed tagging for quite a while. And those are actually some of my favorite matches and favorite times in FCW. Probably my favorite partner I've had too. We had so many matches with Croft and Beretta that were just terrific, and led to us finally getting the tag titles, and it was awesome, but it was kind of bittersweet. A lot of other people agreed as well because we kind of got shafted by us dropping them immediately to the Rotundos, since I guess their last name kind of has a little bit more pull than ours, but I mean whatever. It was awesome while it lasted, and had a lot of fun, and like I said, it was definitely some of my favorite matches I had in FCW.
Now, is the door actually left open for you to possibly ever return to WWE if you so choose?
You know what? They tried to pick me back up, and shortly after I got let go, which is bunk in itself. But as things didn't work out, I've talked to him here, a couple of times, and the door's not closed, but it's kind of like
you want to see what else is out there.
I think it'd be more too immediate if I was a star somewhere else, as opposed to them trying to make me a star, if you know what I mean. So, and I'm not opposed to going back there, but as of right now, there's other things I'd rather do.
Aren't you currently with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood or something like that?
Yeah, I do work there as well.
That's cool. Did you actually ever get a chance to work with Percy Pringle, or at least get to talk to him while he was down there?
Oh yeah, no. I talk to Percy all the time. But yeah, he managed myself and Sean Ricker as natural selection for quite a while. I mean, his debut was as our manager, so that was a lot of fun to be able to work with him. And I mean, that guy's promo skills are second to none. And
yes.
you know, he's had so much history in the business. It was rad to be able to work with him. But I mean, even though he's not my manager anymore, you know, I still see him and talk to him plenty. So it's pretty cool that Percy's like you know, not an average Joe, but I mean, as far as he's just like, oh, another one of the guys. You know what I mean?
Course,
as far as how much I see him and talk to him, and like it's like, oh, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Paul Bear. It's like, oh, this is Percy. What's up, man? So.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody whose brain you can definitely pick about the business and get some advice for and so forth. He's definitely managed some of the biggest names in wrestling history, that's for sure.
He's such a nice guy, so it's great having him there.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So last month you had you made your TNA Gut Check debut against Jay Bradley. How do you go about getting the opportunity?
I had been in contact with people through TNA for a while. I actually got asked down to one of the like little Gut Check seminars, and then I got invited down to like a house show they did over here in California to come backstage, and you know, pretty cool. A couple of the guys too from that were the agents for the WRP, the Wrestling Retribution Project, which still has yet to come out. But so I mean, I know certain people are, I guess, maybe the right people to try to stay in contact with, and had been working on trying to get out there for quite a while for a dark match, and finally that happened. I got to go out there and work Robbie E, and I was all on the radar, and they were all stoked on me, and they're like, all right, we'll just give us time. We're going to give you an opportunity. And then New Year's Eve, like first thing in the morning, coming home from the gym from doing cardio, I got the call that they wanted to book me out there, bring me out there for a couple of weeks. So I was like, oh, great, awesome. And though things went a little sour for me on that, that door's not closed either. So
good deal. Now, being that you've been in both the companies at the moment, WWE and TNA, that I guess you can call them like the top two, so to speak. If you had the opportunity to work in either one of them, would there be any particular stars that you may have maybe set your sights on to possibly work with? If given the opportunity, who would you like to have worked with or work with?
As in either or for both companies, like what would be my top people?
Either or. I mean, you can say if you decided to go, or you can mention both. I mean, I'm sure they obviously got a whole bunch of talent.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's like, it's a plethora of wrestlers there. But I mean, just to say that, throw this out there too. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even trying to kiss anybody, but by any means. But I mean, if I had the choice of which company I'd go to work for, I would hands down immediately go to TNA over WWE right now, completely.
Get that experience, get the name out there too.
And then that's just solely on the fact that it just, I mean, on my brief experience with TNA to WWE, it's just where I would feel more comfortable, more enjoyable, and just where I'd want to go right now. I mean, I've made plenty of sacrifices and journeys in my life, and right now that's the one that I would rather travel down. And like I said, like not like that. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of the boys that may feel that way, but and I'm not like some super like, sore butthurt vet or something like all anti WWE because I got cut or whatever the case may be. I'm fully capable of going back to WWE and would possibly like to. Now at the same time, what really kind of let things go and made things okay with me for a while there, I was so like destined, like if I don't go back to WWE, my life is over. And then as soon as I let go of that like ceiling, and like, you know what? I was like, my goal was to get signed by the time I was 24, which I did. And I'm like, if I don't go back there, it's fine. I was like, I'm doing stuff here, I enjoy my life, I'm content. Like as soon as I did that, so much stress and anxiety and just my life overall just improved. So, if I never go back there, it's cool, but it's not like I'm not wanting to ever go back there. I mean, if that happens, it's awesome. If it doesn't, it's still fine. But as of right now, yes, I would. My sights would be much preferable to go TNA. And if I went to TNA and I stayed there till I retired or got crippled or whatever the case may be, like that's fine as well. Now to go back to your original question, the stars. I mean, geez, there's so many. I guess we go TNA first. Definitely Angle, because he's one of our top favorites, and I'm sure his time is more limited than others, but Angle, AJ Styles. I'd love to do like a program with Kenny King there, or even Joey Ryan, since I've already done so much with him before. RVD would be great. I'll say a lot of the X Division guys, and I think that's one thing too that I kind of like. I kind of build myself as being an all-around best as well, as far as being able to, in my opinion, move very well. I can do some agile stuff. I could wrestle on the ground. I'm a decent-sized guy. Like I feel like I could, be put into like the tag division or the heavyweight division or the X division and do well either which way. Since I feel like I've had pretty good experience in all of it. So I could go in there and it'd be blast to work. Robert Roode and Jeff Hardy and Bubba Ray and all the top heavyweight guys, or put me in the X division, work like I said, Kenny King and RVD and Christian York and Joey Ryan and whatnot, or I could throw me into the new tag partner and have to put in some awesome tag matches, which I think are still lacking in the possibility of how well those could still be done and draw. I mean that's the two. For a while there, it was always like what WWE was always lacking, but I feel like in both the big companies, the tag matches are still what's missing on the action.
Yeah, no doubt.
So were you a fan of TNA before you got this opportunity?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just as I'm sure any other wrestling fan or wrestler, you have your opinions on. So you kept up with the
storylines and so forth?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It wasn't like I was like, oh, what's this? I mean, you have your opinions on stuff, but I don't sit here, I can't stand going into the locker room and everybody bitch about the product and blah, 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 blah. Exactly, I may not agree with everything, nobody is, but listen, you're not the savior of wrestling. You're not going to come around and all of a sudden change everything. So, if you don't like it, then don't fucking watch it. But no, I keep up with it. I don't watch either product like I used to. By any means, I don't even have cable anymore just because I found it kind of a wasteful. I have Netflix, and that's pretty much gets you through everything now. But
actually, it does.
Well, I stay up with it. I'll watch it. I'll check out matches, or from people I know, or I'll just read up, and I'll know the current storyline and everything, and if it's available or I'm around, if it's an episode I really want to see, I'll make sure I watch it with my buddies and whatnot. That's a big thing too. I'm more of a social wrestler now. I can't even with indie wrestling and stuff. I don't like watching it so much if I'm not watching it with people. When I watch it myself, I don't know. I want that atmosphere of a bunch of friends or fans or whatever together watching it. So we always have raw parties. So I was watching it by myself. It's always like, oh man, there's no one to talk about it with.
It makes it more fun that way too. It just like if you're going to go to a live event, you want to go with somebody so that you can experience it with somebody and talk about it, as you're leaving.
Yeah, I want to rave about a match, or I want to bitch about a match, or whatever the case may be. If there's no one here to talk to, man. I find myself when I watch it by myself, the fast forward button gets pressed a lot more because I'm just trying to get through it. Whereas if I'm watching it with people, I'll watch the whole show solid through, minute by minute. So such is the case.
Now, during the Monday Night Wars, since we're gonna go back on that real quick, were you a WWE guy or a WCW guy? Were you flipping the channels? Were you watching one more?
I was a WWE guy through and through. I watched them both, though, matter of fact.
You watched what? I'm sorry?
I watched them both, but I was definitely pro WWE. And as a matter of fact, I'd get mad because I'd watch the first hour of Nitro, and then I would record the second two, and I would watch Raw, and then I'd watch it, Tuesday after school, and I'd always go to school Tuesday morning. People were like, "Oh man, did you watch Nitro last night?" And I was like, "No, I watched Raw, but I recorded it." You would think people would get that. It means you're probably gonna watch it. And my friends, without a doubt, every time like, "Oh man, will Sting win the title?" or "Oh, Goldberg is this," or "Oh, this," and would spoil it all for me. And I'm like, "Dude, didn't I just say I recorded it? What do you think?" So I started getting up at 5 a.m. every Tuesday to watch WWE before I went to school, so people would stop spoiling it for me.
That's insane. That's crazy, and I know the feeling. Trust me, I do. Back then, we
Yeah,
didn't have DVRs. We had the VCRs that could record for us.
Yeah, so yeah, it was I'd be up till like 11:30 midnight and getting up at 5 in the morning on the old Monday Tuesday shift to catch all my wrestling so no one would spoil it. But
was there a particular moment during that time that would you say was your favorite, or was there too many to count during the Attitude Era?
Oh man, I don't know. It is rough. I mean, probably the whole the not only overdid it, but probably the beginning hype with or the big original blow up of DX with Michaels and Hunter, I absolutely loved, and obviously the big prime point of like NWO, was WWE's cool stuff. So I mean, those two factors were really awesome. I was a big Austin fan too, but since I've never usually liked like the number one guy, so even though I liked Austin a lot, I was like, yeah, everybody else likes him, so he's not my favorite. And plus, like I said earlier, Michaels was one of my guys from when I was younger, so I really liked all the DX stuff. I was a pretty big DX mark at that time, so that was probably more of my favorite moments.
Now, before we go ahead and take a quick break, I gotta ask you now. Was there? I mean, how many? If you don't mind me asking, how many years have you been wrestling now?
About 8.
Was there any advice that you were given by either indie wrestlers or even some of the guys in WWE or even TNA that kind of just stuck with you and just kind of is something that you kind of just hold near and dear to your heart because it really is just some good advice? Did you ever receive any particular advice that has stuck with you all this time?
You know what? I nothing like specific comes to mind. I mean, everybody kind of gives you like the general same advice. But, I mean, I just loved it and respected it so much. I had so much respect for it and everybody else in it, and just tried to be as humble as possible. That, I mean, anything anybody ever said, I took, 110% like, yeah, we'll put that. I'm sure there might be something that will pop up in my mind later and be like, oh, yeah, that was a pretty good thing. But, I mean, I've always just thought, to get anywhere in this business, you gotta be willing to do anything and everything and make all the sacrifices not only necessary, but that you have to do. And, I mean, you really got to live it. And I mean, like, in the ring, out of the ring, in the gym, at the dinner table, everything, man. It's got to be you. I mean, from moving for my family, and, I mean, even my 6-month-old son to go to Deep South just for an opportunity to, leaving a game when I got under contract. And, I mean, just I prioritized this over so many things and I've missed so much in my life. But it's just something you got to do. It's kind of a selfish business in that aspect. And you just got to be kind of realistic to yourself that, like, hey, man, if you want to make it, no one's going to come knocking on your doorstep going like, oh, hey, we want you. You got to go out and kicking some doors in, trying to get recognized. So you got to be willing to take that step and miss out on some stuff and really, prioritize things, or just be like son of a bitch with a last name, or famous for doing something else that you don't know anything about wrestling. And then apparently you get in that way too. But as far as the wrestling aspect, and I mean, yeah, I always just knew that it was, like a 1 in a million chance. So you got to do anything, everything, and just be determined as a mofo and not let anybody pull you down. So I mean, I really think, like, I've had a lot of advice, but I think from all the naysayers and all the negativity and just all the, like, hey, you're not going to do it, just really motivated me. Just because I've been so determined since age 10 to be destined to make it into this business. I was like, no, man, ain't nothing going to stop me. So.
Okay. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we got a little more questions and go from there. And in the meantime, we'll be right back. Hang out for just a second, guys. And we're back here with Pipebomb Radio. We're talking to Brian Cage, professional wrestler, wrestling out of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and pretty much any other organization, because he definitely gets around. He definitely is good at what he does, and having a great conversation. We're going to go ahead and bring him back on here. Did I lose Austin?
Oh. No, I'm here, man.
Okay, we got everybody on?
Yep.
All right, just making sure Austin's there and Brian's there. And alrighty. Now, got to ask you, because I'm curious to see what people think regarding the Hall of Fame induction of Bruno Sammartino. Do you feel it's about time? Do you feel it should have happened years ago? Do you feel it now is a good time to go in? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know why he's being so stubborn. Well, I know why he's being so stubborn about accepting it, but I mean, it's better late than never. I mean, of course, name value from when he was there. Yeah, he probably should have already been inducted, But I mean, like I said, better late than never. Now he got another, big name for this year's class because every year you want to have. To me, it almost seems like for a while there, anyways, they were having like a better class like every year, and it's obviously kind of gets hard to top so many people after you've already done somebody. But no, it's cool. It's awesome to have him finally in there, and so. I really hope that they freaking get Savage in there because that's like the main guy.
I was just about to ask you about him too.
Yes, that was the one man that I think really deserves it. So hopefully that happens.
Was he somebody that you also grew up watching on when he was in?
Yeah,
WWE?
actually, I was for him over Hogan, Omega Powers, and then even though I was probably like Warrior's my favorite when I was a little kid because everyone wants their face painted and have tassels and whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I was rooting for Macho Man in the WrestleMania match, the retirement match, and I was pretty upset when Savage lost. So, but no, I've always been a big fan of Savage. So,
was there a particular feud of his that stood out to you as one of his best?
Is one of his best?
It's hard to say because I'm considering he's never really had a bad match. At least in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, no, he's had a lot of great matches, and just I can watch his promos all day long. He cracks me up. The guys, and I kind of like it too. That it seems like he's kind of that's just him. Like he's not just pretending to be a little out of his mind. He kind of is a little bit out of his mind, but I love it. And everybody loves the Steamboat match, of course. It's a great match. Probably just from the nostalgia of it probably would be the Warrior match because I did watch that one live on pay-per-view, and to me that was, it was obviously still very real to me then at age like 7, and to see them go at it, one of them was never going to wrestle again, at least so I thought. That played a big role in my mind at that time. And
what's funny about that era too is that, do you remember when the Cobra bit him?
Oh, of course, yeah. Couldn't get it off, yeah.
That for that time frame and how real that felt, it was pretty crazy to think about it.
Yeah,
considering back then how it was.
Dang, to move ahead, actually, probably my favorite feud with him though was probably him and DDP for sure. And WCW, I like that one a lot.
Was there? Austin, did you have any other questions? Austin, are you there?
I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. I'll for a second. We talked about WWE, we talked about TNA. I don't want to forget, the other guy, Ring of Honor. Are you interested in never going there?
Oh, for sure, man. I'd love to go to Ring of Honor too. I know I just got to do some stuff at Dragon Gate when they were down south, and hopefully the opportunity there will continue to do some more stuff with them. I don't know if they were interested in it, but yeah, I'd love to do something with Ring of Honor as well. People always go like, hey, how come you don't wrestle in Japan? Like, you ever thought about that? I'm like, yeah. I was like, that'd be freaking amazing, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You don't just click your heels like, I want to wrestle in Japan. All of a sudden, you're in Japan booked, on the card wrestling. So, if it was that easy, then heck, I think everybody would be over there. But, most definitely, I'd love to work for Ring of Honor. That's another. The big indie company, if you will, when I first started discovering indie wrestling. So I was like, wow, you see all those guys come up and then go on to TNA and whatnot and become stars. And so that would be awesome to work there. And I'd really, really, really love to go to Japan. It doesn't really even matter which company. It does, but, I would take whatever I could get just because obviously that would be a big milestone in my opinion as well.
Well, it's a good learning lesson for you too, because I know that a lot of people go out there and they get really taken to school about in their matches. They have some awesome matches, but they learn a lot while they're out there too.
Oh yeah, and it's just something. It just be a really really cool experience, and obviously too for those that only really love pro wrestling, want to be professional wrestlers, and it's something you're not going to be able to get with WWE or whatnot. You might go to Japan, and of course it's going to be still awesome on its own right, but it's not the same experience that you're not going to be able to replicate. So,
I've heard that in Japan, that's where your body takes the most damage. Like if you're getting your ass kicked, I don't know what's different about it, but you know, do you know anything? You know, what's the reason behind that? Everybody's getting their backs handed to them.
The intensity of the matches, the workouts, and so forth.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah, it's just taking more serious there too. You know, it's taking more. It's more of just sport, not sports entertainment. So, I mean, they're going to lay it in. They're going to be more solid. They're going to be serious. They have more no nonsense attitude because it's taken quite literally. So, it's not kiss my ass club. It's fucking kick some ass club. So.
Yeah, that was kind of lame. I have to admit that. But it worked for the times that he used it. But
for sure. Yeah.
If fans ever wanted to reach out to you to talk to you, do you have like a Twitter? Do you have like a fan page or anything to that extent? If they ever wanted to, reach out and ask you for advice and so forth, because I know in my partner's case here, Austin, he actually is considering the path of professional wrestling. What advice would you have for him?
Yeah.
Just like what I said earlier, man, just be prepared to sacrifice and fully dedicate yourself. This isn't, a plan, C, D, E, F. I mean, you got to make it your number one, and with that, it's a lot of paying your dues and sacrifices before you get much reward back out of it. But I mean, the reward is just there's absolutely nothing greater than being in the ring and entertaining the crowd and doing that this awesome craft that not so many know how to do, and not a lot of people may truly respect for what it really is. But it's extremely rewarding and nothing greater. And just be ready to dedicate and bust your ass out there and do it all. Like so many times I go out there in the indies and you see guys in junk gear or their bodies are just whack. And listen, you don't have to be. Like, I don't agree with people hiring all these, bodybuilders trying to be wrestlers, but you are a professional wrestler, which would imply the term professional athlete. I don't know how many professional athletes, look like trash or say like, oh man, sorry kid, I'm blown up. Can we just walk this down? You know what I mean? Like, hey, can we just take a time out for a second? Like, you need to be in shape, man. You look the part, act the part, be the part. I mean, if you come out looking like the guy in the crowd, you should probably belong in the crowd. And there's a reason why I think too, like wrestling's kind of takes a back seat, because it's the mystique about it, because you have all these indie shows with a lot of indie wrestlers, and I'm not trying to blatantly talk trash on anybody. I'm just saying, like, if you go there and half the guys, are wrestling in gym shorts and are $150 soaking wet, or just look like they gave litter to a bunch of puppies, or whatever the case would be, or you have these half-ass locker rooms where like the fans are basically in the locker rooms back and forth. Like, there's just no mystique to it anymore. So I think that's really what's kind of hurt, especially the independent level for a lot of shows, is there's just no separation between locker room and fans. And so you really want to stand out, I think, is to really show them, like, hey man, look, I'm a pro wrestler. You go to a show and it looks like a bunch of you can look at like indie guys or guys that are playing wrestler or whatever the case may be. But then you want to be the guy that comes out and be like, oh shit, this guy. That's what they say. They look, oh dude, this guy looks like a real wrestler. You hear that line when someone's looks smart, acts smart, has the gear, can go. Like oh wait, this one is a real one. You know what I mean? So I mean, just really bust your ass, get dedicate everything you can to it. Be willing to sacrifice, and then know that too. It's not just about learning to run the ropes or how to give this move or how to take this move. I mean, it's everything. As far as like in the ring, as far as your charisma, your personality, your wrestling ability, your selling ability, your mic work. But then at the same time, man, you got to live that outside of the ring too, and putting your time into developing your character and your promos in the gym and developing your body and just having the total complete package. Don't give anybody a reason to like not give you a job or not knock you down or whatever. You want to be if you cover all your bases, the only thing people can do is hate on you, which is what generally happens just because they're too lazy to. Everybody wants it, but nobody wants to put in the work. You
hit the nail right on the head right there.
Thank you so much for the advice. I can't tell you how much I love professional wrestling. I was saying on Twitter the other day, passion is an understatement for what I feel for this. I love it so much that I cannot explain to you. Like, you
probably can. 'Cause it's only the few, big time fans / people wrestlers or wannabe wrestlers that really understand what we do and like share that passion, that love. That's the only way you can really relate. Everybody else nobody else really gets it, or they find it hard to understand, or just can always ask like, well, wait a minute, why do you guys do this? Like what? They don't really get it, but it's. I mean, I completely understand what you're saying there with that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So do we have any callers on the phone that would like to ask a few questions?
Actually, no, we don't, and that's okay. What I was going to actually ask you though is, we do have. I was going to ask you, or maybe I missed it. I apologize. If there was a way for fans to want to reach out to you, do you have like a particular Twitter or fan page that they can do?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that. My Twitter handle is Mr. GMSI _BCage, and my Facebook, there's a Mr. GMSI Facebook, and just Facebook / Brian Cage. It's my fan page and my regular page. I generally don't add fans on my regular page, but if anybody messages me, I get back to everybody.
Yes, you do. I can vouch for that.
Sometimes it might take a while, but I try to get back to everybody. So I realize, hey, the only reason I get to do what I get to do is because of everybody else. So I try to, try to give back however I can, whether it's, a message, a comment, a tweet, or whatever the deal. I just always show constant appreciation. So I know it can go a long way sometimes, and you think, sometimes you feel like you're the little guy on the totem pole, but there's a few people out there that totally makes a difference. Just doing something small as far as an autograph or a picture or whatever. So, that night that was so memorable and amazing to me when I freaking got that shirt and from Canyon and whatnot. It was just an unbelievable experience. Like that filled my desire to become a pro wrestler that much more, because I wanted to return that same favor and to return that same feeling to another fan, just because it was so, such an easy part to him. And I'm sure I was like, oh, this fan's probably going to like this, but I don't think he even really knew just how much that impacted me. Like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Well, I can tell you for a fact, Brian, that your advice to Austin means a lot more to him than you really think. He really does appreciate it. I can vouch for that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, that's awesome, man.
And as far as, impacting people, the words you say definitely made an impact with him. But I am not going to tie you up much more of your time. It is getting closer to the 9 o'clock hour on our California side over here. But I do want to say thank you very much, very, very much for joining us tonight. I'm glad we were able to get you to come on and chat with you about wrestling. I can definitely tell you've been a fan from way back. And hopefully maybe somewhere down the line we'll bring you back on and see what you've been up to since then.
All right, man. Sounds good. And sorry about the hiccup there on Tuesday, but
no worries
make
at all.
for it.
You know what? We made it happen today, and that's all that matters. So what's done is done, and we trust me, Austin and I really do appreciate you coming on and chatting with us.
Awesome, man. Hey, Austin, you know what, too? You're just plugging the Twitter and the Facebook on both of those sites too. I just posted a link for my brand new T-shirt that just got released today for pre-order. So anybody wants a new Get My Shit In T-shirt, go ahead and check those out.
Now you said it was on your Facebook, your fan page, or
it's on my Facebook and my Twitter, both of them.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll definitely check that out. And if not, I know if I don't catch it, I know Austin will definitely catch it for sure.
Definitely.
But all righty, Mr. Brian, I do appreciate it. You have yourself a great night, and we look forward to seeing you on the Gut Check, maybe in TNA real soon again, or maybe you just get your own contract. Or do they even have Championship Wrestling from Hollywood on television? Because I think they do.
Yeah, it is. It's not nationwide though. It's in the works.
Is it like do they have like a website where they can watch some of your matches and so forth?
Oh, for sure. I mean, not only is YouTube pretty handy, but no, CWF.
About that. Yes.
CWF from Hollywood .com has weekly episodes on there as well. So
nice. I'm gonna have to check that out myself. I'm curious because I've seen that Percy worked out there, and I didn't realize it until I looked at your Facebook page that you did work there a little bit as well. So definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah, too. I just recently had a couple good matches over there. Real fun one I had with Willie Mack for the the television title. So if you get a chance, check out that one.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of Austin, thank you again for coming on tonight. You have yourself a great night, sir.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Hey, no problem, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.